Hey guys, um, welcome back to my live stream. I had a little bit of a better day today. Um, like my videos earlier, I heard a lot of great things today from a lot of great people. Um, yeah, this live stream is gonna be about me missing someone. I'm gonna be talking about my grandma. Um, this is around the time of her death and the time we lost her. Now 5 years ago, so it's been 5 years without me seeing my grandma, and it's also almost her birthday too. Her birthday was a little after she passed away, and we're gonna be talking about that. Um, but yeah, thank you for joining my live, you guys, and being a part of my journey. But yeah, we're gonna talk about my grandma and how I'm dealing with her death now, and um, yeah, just the month in general, kind of how I'm gonna deal with this, and my family too. But yeah, I just want to say thank you all for all joining. I'm going to read some verses that talk about death, sadness, how to deal with it. And if y'all have anything y'all want to comment down below, I'll be more than happy to listen. And um, if y'all wanted to talk about anything, I'll be more than happy to talk with y'all about this stuff. I'm talking to y'all about my journey, and I would love for y'all to talk to me about y'all's. Or if y'all want me to read anything or have any questions, I'm more than happy to read or answer those. But yeah, I had a little bit of a better day. That talk with that guy at the croc or my gym earlier was like really something I needed. It felt really nice. I was having a conversation with someone older than you, a really wise guy. But yeah, there's just a lot of sadness. Not a lot of sadness, but there's some sadness I still have today, and it's better than yesterday, but there's still some stuff I'm still sad about, and I know, as the title says, missing you. But yeah, I'm gonna start reading my Bible. But yeah, we're gonna talk about my grandma real quick. So my grandma's name was Candelaria Velasquez. Hi, Mesa. Hi, Momo. Thank y'all for joining. But yeah, my grandma's name. Hi, Momo. Hi. Hey guys, thank y'all for joining my live stream. We're talking about, death, sadness. We're gonna talk about my grandma for a little bit. Um, you've seen my title, Missing You. It's been 5 years since my grandma passed away. Okay. That's good. That's, at least you're not like sad. What happened to your grandma? Well, I'm gonna give you all a little background. So my grandma was Candelaria Velasquez. That was her name. She was from Mexico, and they moved to America around 55 years ago with my mom, and they're full Mexican. And yo, what you using to wipe that hiney? What do you mean by that? But anyways, she passed away 5 years ago. Thank you. It's okay. She passed away 5 years ago. She was only like 68, I believe. She was very young still. When the COVID-19 pandemic happened, she ended up getting COVID near her and my grandpa, but she got it worse. And it was a little right after Christmas. We weren't able to see her on Christmas. We showed up. She was sick. They had COVID, so they went to go stay at my aunt's house down the street. Yeah, so young. I know. She went to go. Her and my grandpa went to go live in my aunt's house for a little bit because they were sick, so they can take care of them. So we'd go visit and stuff. I'm sorry to hear that, sweetie. I'm praying for you. Praying for you. But yeah. Um, she was living with my aunt, and we would go see her sometimes, but we're being precautious, so she would just be at the front door, and she had her mask. Or if she was outside, she'd come out on the front door because it was okay at the time to be on like at least a certain feet away if you're outside without a mask. And we would talk to her and stuff, and like just bring her stuff because we wanted to see her. And my grandpa ended up healing from it, but my grandma's sickness kept getting worse. She went to a doctor and they said she'd be fine. Yeah, she had COVID. Oh, yours did too? Is your grandma RIP? Yeah, she passed away 5 years ago. But anyways, it just kept getting worse. And like on New Year's, we didn't really celebrate New Year's that year because we were just like worried about her. And then they finally admitted her into the hospital, maybe I would say a week after New Year's. And you know, at the time it was really hard to go see her because I had school obviously, and at the time during COVID they would let very limited people go see her because of like the restrictions they had. So it'd really just be like my mom and her siblings, and like sometimes we'd be able to go. I have to reach syndrome. Oh, I don't know what that is, but it's okay. But anyways, she was doing better. Oh, Tourette syndrome. That's okay. Everyone has their flaws. It doesn't make you any different. But um, she ended up passing away. Well, she started when she first went to the hospital. She was doing a little better, and then all of a sudden, like, everything just started spiraling downhill. And she was in there for about 2 weeks, and at one point, like, it was looking really bad. We were praying a lot, and you know, like I would leave school early sometimes just to go with my parents to the hospital to go see her. And it was really hard at that time because obviously I didn't know. I like before that I haven't felt like any death really. Maybe when I was very little, but like I didn't really like had know someone so close that died. And it started going downhill, and then one day, a week later, we're at my house, and at this time we lived in this little bit on like the west side of Kerrville where I live, and where it was like around 7 o'clock at night, and me, my sisters were in my sister's room, and then we got a call from my mom, or from my dad actually, because my mom was like there was crying that my grandma passed away at around 7 o'clock, and I remember that moment instantly when they said she passed away. I was in 7th grade, so I was around 12, 13 years old, and before that, I didn't know what death felt like. And, I spent almost every day with my grandma since I was born, especially when I was in elementary school and like preschool. Um, my parents would be working, so my grandpa would go pick me up, and sometimes he would go get me food, and then we'd go to their house where my grandma was. Or, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm praying for you and your family. And they were always there for me. Like sometimes when I was sick in elementary school, my mom would just drop me off at my grandma's house, and she would just take care of me, and I felt so much better. I mean, I have my dad's side of the family, my grandparents, they live like out in West Texas, so it's like about 2 hours from us. So we don't see him as much, but we see him. We try to see him frequently. But or if I went to their house, she'd bake me something, soup or a sandwich. Or when I was little, I was a little chubby, so she would make me these little salads. She called them enchiladas, and it'd be like turkey meat, lettuce, and like ranch and cheese. But I was always at her house after school in elementary school, and even when my mom would be mad because I was like probably overeating, she'd always defend me, and she was well beloved in our town. Even my coach almost had a car crash today. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad the Lord blessed you and kept you safe. But even my basketball coach, like last year, one day he randomly just said, "I miss Candy's tamales," and that's what they call her, Candy. She made the best tamales. Like everyone in the town would try to buy them. Like everywhere I went, my barber shop, the gym, my school, they would always ask about my grandma's tamales. And you know, she was just a really loved person, and I loved her so much. And when I first heard, like when we first heard, my sister stayed on the phone. They were like in shock too, but like I kind of froze. Like I just stood up and I was just like in shock. I was just frozen for like 5 minutes. And then I was just thinking about all the memories I had with my grandma, and like just thinking about like I'm never gonna see her again. I'm never gonna talk to her again. And it was really hard talking or seeing her like those 3 weeks she was sick because of the COVID and the restrictions. And it was just like I'm not gonna see my grandma again. And you know, what am I gonna do? Like she's been there my whole life, and now she's getting taken away. And like I just couldn't comprehend that, especially at 12 to 13 years old. And then it was just really hard for me and my family the next like week and a half. Especially my mom, me, all of us. We all love my grandma. Like, and then I remember we had basketball, and it was like almost the end of the year, and we had like the end of season tournament, and me and my friend had to go on COVID quarantine because we were around someone that had COVID. So I wasn't even able to play, and that was the same weekend though that we had my grandma's funeral. So we went to the funeral home for like the um, I forgot the scene, the view, whatever it's called, and there's a lot of people there, and I remember seeing my grandmother in that casket, and her face is just pale, and it's like lifeless, and I just started crying. Like I didn't care who was there at the moment. I just felt like it was just me and her, and I was so sad. And it was a really hard day that day. Lots of family members came in from out of town, and I get you because my grandma passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. Praying for you and your family. It is really hard, but yeah, like seeing her lifeless body, and it was just pale because of the funeral home. It was just like crazy. And then the next day we had her like, actual funeral, because that was at night, and then the next day we were gonna go bury her at the cemetery. And I remember it was hard because we went to her, first we went to her like our church, the Catholic church, to have a ceremony, and the whole time I was just crying because the music and everything. My grandma she tried like her best to be Catholic. She never really went to church, but when she'd go with us, she would always act like she knew everything, and it was what made her so special. She was just a funny person. And um, I remember it was hard at the time because that day, before we got into the church, we had to take her casket from the funeral home over there, and I had to be one of the boys that helped carry the casket. And it was really hard because it was all my uncles, my dad, my older cousins, and then just a little 12-year-old boy who had to carry the casket. And I just like was carrying the casket, and I was like, this is my grandma, she's dead. And we're going to church. I was just trying to hold my tears in. And as soon as we got in there and we sat down, I just started crying. And then when we went to the funeral or the cemetery, I remember before we laid her to rest under the ground, where we can all see her, and we all got to put flowers on her casket. And like my cousins that are like tough, not knotted. Everyone like in town knows them, like they're tough. Don't cry. They're like tomboys. Sometimes some of them are. They like to fight. Crazy, just bawling their eyes out. And it was just really harsh for me. And probably the whole day I just didn't eat anything. And just seeing her casket go down, lower and lower, into the ground, is like saying goodbye. Like this is the last time. Even though it was just her casket, I was like, we're saying goodbye to my grandma. And like it was just so much to comprehend. And I was probably like sad about it for like the first year. Just so sad. And like going back to school, like I didn't want to talk to people, and I didn't want people asking questions either. Just like, I don't know, it was really hard. And then especially on my grandpa, he ended up moving in with us for around 3 years, and my mom wanted to take care of him. And then we finally, where their house was, it got demolished because my aunt wanted it to get demolished. And that house has been through a lot. There was a flood in here, this town, a couple years ago, and It almost got washed away, but um, they ended up tearing it down, which was sad because I remember we took a picture there. It was really sad when it got torn down though, because all the memories we have, my grandma and stuff, it felt like it was gone. Um, it wasn't like the best house. It's really small, old, because my grandpa had to rebuild it. But it was just sad saying goodbye. And then they rebuilt my grandpa a little tiny home for himself, and it took him a while to get adjusted to living on his own, but he's still living there. And I try to, my mom especially tries to go visit him like almost every day, just so he has company because he's by himself. He's still working, and we go visit my grandma a lot at the cemetery, and I always get reminded of the time she passed away 5 years ago, to COVID, around this time, January and February, because she passed away in late January, and her birthday is February 1st. And, especially like her passing away, and like after this like ceremony and funeral, a couple days later, it was her birthday. That first birthday was so brutal. We played her favorite Spanish songs, and like, um, it was just so brutal. And, I've been dealing with it, and I'm doing better about it. Um, I still get sad. I get sad, but like I'm starting to work on it. But the sadness still comes thinking about my grandma. And I remember I was a little mad at God at the time. I was like, why did this happen? She didn't do anything wrong to anybody. Like, she was a good person. And like a lot of people talk about, why do bad things happen to good people? And that's what I had as a question for the Lord. And like I remember I didn't go to church for like 3 months, and my mom felt the same kind of, because we were so strong with our faith and stuff, and then that happened, and like a turn of events. And it took us time, but we rebuilt it. And um, you know, still celebrate my grandma very beautifully with her favorite songs, favorite food. We think about all her videos and memories. And hi, and I will probably post a picture of her on here on the day it's her birthday, because the very last picture I took with her, she'd always wear the same blue shirt. It had stains from cooking, and she was there. And, it's hard dealing with her death sometimes still, but I love my grandma, and I know she's watching over me. And COVID-19 wasn't a good thing, and after time, it was like the Lord was ready for my grandma to be with him, and she was ready too. And she fought so hard. She was such a fighter. But it was her time to go with the Lord, and I know she's having so much fun with her beloved ones that have been taken by the Lord too up there. And I know she's watching us very closely. But yeah, I mean, I miss her a lot right now. And thank you all that are here right now. Yeah, I'm gonna read some verses, and if y'all have anything y'all would like to share, I'll be more than happy. But yeah, I do miss my grandma a lot, especially around this time. Me and my family were just talking about it, and I'm gonna read some verses that talk about deaths and sadness. Just like the title says, I miss you a lot, and I just wish I could text her one more time. But yeah, I wrote down some verses I'm gonna read. Romans 8, uh, Romans 8, verse 18. But yeah, thank you all that are on this live stream right now. If you want to talk about anything, y'all give me more happy to. Like I said, I just want to thank y'all for being here on this journey with me, and being there for me through these sad times. And yeah, this means a lot to me. We're gonna read Romans chapter 8, verse 18, or verse line 18. Destiny of glory. It says, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are as nothing compared with the glory to be revealed for us. I'll read that one more time. I consider that the sufferings of this present time are as nothing compared with glory to be revealed for us. So, the first line right there, I consider that the sufferings of this present time are as nothing compared with the glory. All right, Loretta, you can tell me. I want to tell you something that was today. So like I'm gonna read it. The sufferings of this present time, the sufferings that you're going through right now, the sadness, the pain. Welcome back, shark fins. The sufferings and stuff you're going through right now. Um, you know, compare with the glory to be revealed that time are as nothing compared with the glory. Um, the suffering that you're going through right now, and you're gonna be sad, obviously, but it is nothing compared to like what the glory will be later on, and just the way you comprehend it. Like I said, it took me a while to trust in the Lord again after my grandma passed away. But the glory is, for me afterwards, was thinking all the positives that my grandma got from this. Even though she passed away, she didn't have to suffer anymore in this world. And we know this is not the best world right now. There's a lot of hate and stuff in the world. But she gets to go to the most beautiful place ever, the most perfect place where she won't be hurt anymore and see her loved ones and see us all the time. And she gets to go with the Lord. And I think that's the glory of it. And that's what just makes me like deal with it. Even when my dog died, our first dog that we got when I was born, Trooper, I was like, he's not suffering no more. He's with the Lord. He's running around. My grandma's throwing him the ball, and you know, that has been helping me through it. And even right now, I'm sad just thinking about that. This helped me a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna read now. Revelations 21:4. Thank you to all that are on here. Does mean a lot. We're gonna go to Revelations now. I just passed it. Revelations 21:4. But yeah, thank you all that are joining. It really means a lot to me. They are here with my journey. Yeah. Revelations 21, right here. It says, He will wipe every tear from their eyes, and there should be no more death or mourning, wailing or pain, for the old order has passed away. I read this one last night when I was talking about sadness and feeling disgusted with myself and like trying not to cry yesterday after I had like kind of a bad end of the day. And, like I said, whenever we're sad and stuff, guys, you shouldn't, like, if there's any death, or you're just sad, don't go out and just like feel anger or give hatred towards the Lord. Like I said, there's many verses, and it is proven the Lord has a plan for us. He knows what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and He wants the best for us, and He does everything in His best way. And like if someone in your family passes away, like my grandma, I went to San Diego and 6 people swears into me and my mom. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. But yeah, like, you shouldn't give hatred towards the Lord. Like, instead of getting distant from the Lord when something bad happens, come to Him. It's the complete opposite. That's when we should be getting closer with the Lord. That's when we should make our faith stronger with the Lord. And like I said, when my grandma passed away, like we've been talking about, I was really mad at the Lord and I became a little distant. But I shouldn't have done that. I should have stayed closer to the Lord. That's when I needed Him the most. When things happen, we need the Lord the most. He'll wipe away all our tears. Not physically, but He will. Like I said yesterday, when I was sad and disgusted with myself, at the end of the day, He didn't physically wipe my tears away, but He stopped me from crying. Instead of crying, I prayed out to Him, and it's calmed me down. So go out to the Lord, guys, whenever you're sad. Don't get distant from Him. All right, now we're going to go into Matthew. Matthew chapter 5, verse 4. All right, Matthew chapter 5, verse 4 says, so Matthew chapter 5 is a big verse. It says, Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. So when we're mourning, like I said, like when I was mourning over my grandma's death, or we're mourning over something that happened to us, we're gonna be blessed by the Lord. The Lord's gonna be with us. He's gonna take care of us. We're gonna be blessed by him in his way. He's gonna comfort us. You know, that's what I'm saying. Don't be distant from him, because he just wants to take care of us. He knows we're gonna be sad. He knows it. And everyone's gonna have a time in their life when they're sad. But we shouldn't be distant from the Lord like I was when my grandma passed away. We should get closer to him. That's when we should build our bond stronger with each other, because we're blessed. We'll be blessed by the Lord. And he will comfort us. And, you know, it could take time, but he will make things better. And, you know, I just strongly have to believe in that, especially with my grandma's passing and, you know, events that have happened recently. Like, I mourn the things that I've lost and from the actions I've done, but I need to stay strong with the Lord, and don't let these sad things keep me distant from him. I need to get closer to him, and, you know, let him comfort me, guys. But yeah, thank you all that are joining the live. If you want, we're just talking about my grandma's passing around this time, and how to deal with sadness and death, and basically just this time of the month and how I'm dealing with it. Next, we're going to read Mark chapter 7. So it's a little after Matthew. Mark chapter 7, verse 23. It says, but what comes out of a person, that is what defiles from within people, from their hearts, come evil and thoughts, unchastity, theft, murder, adultery, greed, malice, deceit, licentiousness, envy, blasphemy, arrogance, fully. All these evils come from within, and they defile. It's just talking about all the things that humans can build up, and talking about everything that we can do. We have greed. Like, we're talking, like, you know, when you talk about the 7 deadly sins. Yo, what's up, before? I gotta go, but God bless you and have a good night. God bless you. Just talking about, like, when you're sad, like, all these things can fill up inside you. Don't let them fill up inside you. Like, you know, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say it. I'm probably tired of me saying it, but get with the Lord. Get closer with the Lord. He's the best therapy we could have. And, you know, like when my grandma's death and the sadness I've had the last 2 weeks. And, you know, we shouldn't have those things take over us. We should have the Lord take over us and have him, like we talked about last night on this live, about the tree by the water spreading its roots out. We're spreading our roots out. We need to spread our roots out for the Lord. And when, you know, a drought comes, we still produce fruit. When it gets hot, we still stay green. That's how we need to be when the Lord, when bad things happen. I could have talked about that one too tonight, but I just kind of explained it. But yeah, and then the last verse today is going to be 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 7:10. So we're going to just read that. Thank you for everyone that's been on this live, and to the person that's still on this live. Is it Jack Bowers 08 on this live still? I'm not sure. But whoever it is, thank you. And all the people that have been on the live tonight. 2 Corinthians 7:10. Let's see. It says, for godly sorrow produces a salutary repentance without regret, but worldly sorrow produces death. I will read that one more time. For godly sorrow produces a salutary repentance without regret, but worldly sorrow produces death. I think the way I'm going to interpret that, I could be wrong. If we produce our sorrow, if the sorrow that we have from anything that's happened that's made us sad, if we just give it all to the Lord, it will produce something that doesn't have regret or sadness that eats us inside. If we just give our sadness to the Lord, but we let the sadness eat us up and just give it out into the world, then that's going to be something that leads to death. You know, when he's saying death, I don't think it means like actual death, but death like mentally, like our sadness is taking over us. And, you know, when you're sad, just reach out to the Lord. don't let it eat you up. Talk to someone, talk to the Lord. You can talk to the Lord every day for free. It's not like it's something that you have to pay for, and that's pretty awesome, especially in these times with all this inflation. But if we let the Lord take over our problems, then we'll finally find peace. Like I talked about the guys the other day, like a couple days ago, the guys at the gate. They're so anxious and they can't have peace because they don't know when the evil's coming. But if we just give all our problems to the Lord, then we will be saved. So I'm just going to pray real quick before I go to bed, and then thank you all for joining. Dear Lord, thank you for another day. Thank you for another day for me to get better with myself, lose weight, and get closer to you, Lord. Thank you for keeping all the people I care about safe, and take away sadness if they're going through anything sad. Take away, and thank you for keeping my family safe, and thank you for creating this beautiful nature around us. And I pray that keep everyone safe tomorrow. And I just pray that I wake up tomorrow with happy breath and have a good day on your day, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. I just want to say thank you to all that joined my live tonight. I might make a post tonight. We'll see. But yeah, may God bless y'all all. And if you ever want to talk, just let me know. Good night, guys.